Chances are good that if you're watching this video, you already know some of the common arguments about porn use in the modern world. But in this video, we're going to explore an argument that I'm willing to bet you've never heard before, and it may change how you view porn and its role in society forever. I'm going to show you something that you're not going to believe when you first hear it. I'm going to show you that pornography doesn't exist. I know this seems like it doesn't make any sense, but trust me, it will. I'm also going to show you why worrying about porn is a waste of time. Don't get me wrong, there are real and important problems to address here. It's just that quitting porn or blaming porn isn't going to solve any of them. There is a much bigger picture here. And if you want to understand how to really be a healthy, liberated human being, you should keep watching. The idea that porn doesn't exist sounds crazy, but answer me this. What is porn? It seems obvious, but only because all of it has already been labeled for us. There are websites specifically dedicated to it. But if it wasn't housed on those specific sites, and it wasn't already labeled as porn by somebody else, would it always be so easy to identify? You might initially say that porn is simply content that shows people having sex, but movies and TV often show that too. So then you might say that porn is content that shows actual nudity. But nudity is sometimes present in movies, in music videos, in paintings, in sculptures. So then you might say porn is content that is designed for people to actually get off to. But that only makes sense if people never get off to scenes in movies, steamy music videos, or any art pieces involving nudity, and that's certainly not true. Backpedaling, you might narrow your definition of nudity and focus only on very specific body parts, interacting in very specific ways. But while it's true the only online place you're likely to see that is on so-called porn websites, those sites also feature plenty of content that doesn't necessarily show those specific bodily interactions. In fact, might not even show those specific body parts at all, but we still consider it porn. So, what is porn? If you're struggling to find a clear answer, you're not alone. It turns out even Supreme Court justices have been unable to define what porn actually is. In a 1964 Supreme Court case, the manager of an Ohio movie theater was facing criminal charges for showing a French film called The Lovers at his theater. The film has a brief sex scene in it, which is quite PG by today's standards. The Supreme Court reversed the charges and let the theater manager go, but they couldn't agree why they did so. One of the justices, Justice Potter Stewart, had worn himself out so thoroughly by trying to define the term pornography that he eventually gave up and concluded, quote, "I know it when I see it." That's probably how most of US feel too. We know it when we see it, but how do we know it? The fact that porn is so hard to define raises the question, what exactly is it that we're all talking about when we talk about things like porn use, porn addiction, porn side effects, and so on? The answer will likely surprise you. But first, if you're finding this video to be true, and it's turning on any lights for you, please consider subscribing to help spread this message. When we talk about porn, what we're really talking about is two separate but related things: masturbation and viewing arousing content. There is almost certainly nothing wrong at all with masturbation itself. It's a fundamental part of human nature. In fact, it's not even unique to humans. But what about viewing arousing content? Here is where things get more interesting. There are people all over the internet condemning porn sites for poisoning minds and ruining relationships. But strangely, they rarely say much about which arousing content is poisonous and which arousing content isn't. They just say, everything on those porn sites is poisonous and you should stop visiting them. But what if someone continues masturbating and chooses to watch arousing movie scenes or arousing music videos instead? Or what if they get off while reading an erotic novel? These things seem comparatively harmless because there's really nothing wrong in principle with getting off to content you find arousing. What people are actually worried about is not what they call porn. They're worried about bad ideas. Bad ideas about how to treat other people. Bad ideas about what other people actually want, or how they will behave in certain situations. Bad ideas about who you are supposed to be, how you're supposed to act, how you're supposed to feel. These ideas are common on porn websites, but they're not exclusive to them. They are a reflection of our culture. We are always drawn to simple answers. We're drawn to the idea that porn is an easily isolated variable that is to blame for our failing relationships. We're drawn to the idea that if we just purge ourselves of this one specific thing, we'll be magically restored back into the effortlessly monogamous, endlessly satisfied, perfectly wholesome person we've truly been all along. But it isn't that simple. Porn doesn't exist, not in the way we think it does. It's just a label, and no one has ever been able to agree on the criteria for that label, despite there now being hugely popular websites that bear the label at the top of the homepage. These are just hubs for various forms of arousing content. Who is to blame for the fact that so much of that content uses derogatory language? Who is to blame for the fact that so much of that content depicts abusive power dynamics? The website? Our cultural affinity for violence, degradation, and power runs way deeper than that. It's common in all our entertainment. It's in our obsession with winning arguments, winning elections, seeing our team win in the playoffs, winning at life, getting money and fame and admiration for ourselves, and then relishing the envy of our old friends. Our culture not only celebrates individuality, it encourages annihilation of the enemy in whatever form that enemy supposedly takes, and ultimate power over our environment and our fellow human beings. Our culture created these appetites, and that's why we see them reflected not just on porn websites, but throughout our society. Porn sites host, with alarming frequency, content that was created through exploitation or even human trafficking. But in the world outside the film set, wealthy patrons are hiring exploited and trafficked sex workers on the black market. Self-important restaurant guests are belittling their servers, making demands and withholding tip money as punishment. Owners and managers are calculating the minimum amount of pay they can give their workers, then kicking them out onto the street the moment they fail to obey orders. Advertisers use sexualized bodies to sell products all over the place, including through popular influencers on social media. Hit TV shows make entertainment out of other people's suffering to the oohs and ahs of the sneering audience. Millions and millions of men and women evaluate potential partners in a virtual stack of photographs, quickly swiping away those that fail to make an instant impression. And all over social media, people are piling on shame and contempt anytime someone they see as above them does anything they feel they can criticize. We're all swimming in a sea of dehumanization. But rather than tackle that, we make porn websites a scapegoat because it's easier. Not only does this obscure the real underlying problem, it creates new problems of its own. First of all, it inevitably demonizes masturbation and libido. We're telling ourselves that watching porn is bad, but what we're really telling ourselves is that getting off to arousing content is bad, and that we should battle those urges as if they are unnatural. This is ultimately about as effective as starving yourself to try to change your relationship with food. This takes one of the key problems people blame porn for, and it makes it even worse. It makes you even more ashamed and confused about your own body and your own nature. The underlying message becomes, there's something wrong with you. You're doing something bad, but you're not. You're living in a world that feeds you junk food, and sometimes when you're hungry, you're eating it. The solution is not to stigmatize eating, it's to find a healthy balance. And the only way to get there is to be honest. What is the problem you're actually trying to solve? To what extent are you sure that it actually is a problem? And what do you think is actually causing it? Your relationship problems might just be due to the fact that you're with the wrong person. Your sexual frustration might just be due to the fact you don't know how to ask for what you want. Your concerns about objectification and dehumanization, and your unease about your own capacity for them, might be due to the fact that the entire world around you is constantly doing the same thing. The path you want to follow is not to smother your own sexuality. It is to distance yourself in all areas of your life from the desire to see others humiliated, others dominated, others controlled. The truth is that it really doesn't matter if you watch porn or not. It doesn't even matter if you watch reality TV or TikTok or anything else. What matters is what you're watching and why you're watching it. And if you're like the overwhelmingly vast majority of people today, then why probably has at least something to do with low self-esteem. You've been led to believe you're somehow not as good as other people, and that you don't deserve what you really want. So, you're drawn to the sight of people you tend to feel unworthy of, being brought down to your level in some way or another. This is an all too human desire. But tell me this, would you rather see people brought down or discover that you were never unworthy in the first place? Could it be that all those people you think are out of your league are just as insecure as you are? Is it really impossible that who you're attracted to could be wrestling with their own attraction to you? What if everyone is secretly watching porn, secretly hating themselves for no good reason, secretly wishing that someone would build a bridge and show them that they're not alone? Instead of worrying about porn, worry about underestimating yourself. Worry about selling yourself short. Worry about bad ideas that have shaped the way you interpret your own desires. And worry about missing out on one of the best things in life, which our culture has so powerfully conditioned us to underestimate: the magic of mutual desire. Because after all, what's better? Dining at an expensive restaurant or dinner at the home of your beloved friends? An exclusive party at a nightclub or a spontaneous backyard gathering with your favorite people? A $5,000 therapy retreat? Or a late-night heart-to-heart with someone you love? Having enough money and power to make whoever you want do whatever you want? Or living with enough bravery and authenticity to attract the people who will give you what you want, because they also want to? There is no need, no reason, and no desire to degrade other people in a world where we're all confused, we're all insecure, and we're all fundamentally the same. If you want to fix your problems, start erasing all the malware inside your brain that says you don't belong. Unlearn everything that led you to assume you have to own and control things in order to get what you want. Stop assuming you are unwanted. Thanks for watching. If you found this video useful, please leave a like and a comment, and please consider subscribing. We have much more to discuss. Until then, we'll see you next time.